The movie opens with PJ and Josie, two high school friends, preparing for a big night at the fair. PJ, the more assertive and confident of the two, is convinced this is their year to finally become popular and find romantic success, particularly with Brittany for PJ and Isabel for Josie. Josie, however, is much more cynical, believing no one will ever be interested in her and that their gay identities make them unappealing. At the fair, their attempts to socialize are awkward and unsuccessful. PJ tries to flirt with Brittany, who is preoccupied with body image issues and a need to induce vomiting. Josie struggles to even approach Isabel, ultimately making a cringe-worthy comment about her being skinny. They also encounter Hazel, who asks about Josie's arm injury, leading PJ to fabricate a story about them being in juvie, which Josie reluctantly goes along with. The fair's main event is a pep rally for their school's football team, the Vikings, led by the popular and overtly masculine Jeff. During the rally, PJ's grand gesture of trying to get Brittany's attention by throwing a piece of popcorn at her fails spectacularly, landing near Jeff and resulting in a confrontational exchange. The situation escalates when Jeff confronts them as they're leaving. PJ, in a moment of panic, runs him over with her car, injuring him. They quickly flee the scene, leaving Jeff on the ground. The next day at school, the incident with Jeff has become a major topic. Principal Myers addresses the school, portraying Jeff as a victim and the other school, Huntington, as the aggressors, blaming them for the violence. PJ and Josie are called to the principal's office. Principal Myers, clearly biased towards Jeff and football, is dismissive of their explanations and threatens to expel them. In a desperate attempt to avoid expulsion, PJ impulsively claims they were practicing for a self-defense club, which she frames as a fight club. To their surprise, Principal Myers, misunderstanding or simply not caring, agrees to let them start a fight club as long as they also perform the vagina monologues and keep it contained. PJ is ecstatic, seeing this as an opportunity to gain popularity and impress Brittany and Isabel. Josie is horrified, knowing they have no idea how to fight and that their juvie story was a complete lie. PJ, however, insists they can learn and that this will empower the girls at their school, who are clearly intimidated by the male-dominated sports culture and the threat from Huntington. Hazel, meanwhile, sees it as an opportunity to foster female solidarity. They manage to recruit Mr. G, a seemingly indifferent male teacher who is going through a divorce, to be their advisor under the pretense of it being a women's club focusing on women's issues like periods and long denim skirts. Mr. G agrees, seemingly just to avoid involvement while still getting credit for a hobby. The first meeting of the fight club is chaotic. PJ tries to assert authority with strict rules and a tough girl persona, while Josie tries to temper her with more reasonable suggestions like stretches and icebreakers. When asked to share their juvie experiences, PJ embellishes their fabricated story, claiming they had to fight to the death and she broke someone's nose. Josie, pressured, adds to the lie, claiming she killed a girl with rat poison who was then revived. PJ then demands Josie demonstrate a punch, which Josie is reluctant to do. PJ insists, allowing Josie to punch her. The punch is powerful, breaking PJ's nose. Despite the injury, PJ is thrilled, seeing it as validation and attracting attention from other girls, including Sylvie, who expresses how empowering she found it. This incident also draws the attention of Isabel, who is now intrigued. As the club continues, the girls start to genuinely connect. PJ, in a surprising turn, suggests they dedicate a meeting to sharing personal stories and feelings, something Hazel had subtly hinted at earlier. This shift leads to a powerful and vulnerable session where the girls share their experiences with assault, stalking, family issues, and the pressures of being perceived only for their looks. Josie finally confesses the truth about juvie, that it was a lie and that the constant hazing and forced fighting she endured there, while not badass, made her realize she doesn't have to be a victim anymore. She expresses gratitude for the club, acknowledging its positive impact on her. The raw honesty of the sharing session creates a sense of genuine female solidarity and empowerment, moving beyond PJ's initial superficial motives. The movie ends with the girls finding strength and connection in their shared vulnerabilities, preparing to confront the challenges ahead, both physical and emotional. The bomb incident. PJ and Josie's bond is strained, with Josie blaming PJ for their predicament. Their fight club is in jeopardy, especially after Hazel, feeling betrayed and hurt by PJ's insensitive comments, exposes their lies about juvie and their true motives for starting the club during a school pep rally. This public humiliation, orchestrated by Principal Myers and Jeff, leaves PJ and Josie isolated with their club members, including Isabel and Brittany, feeling used. In the fallout, Josie seeks advice from Rhodes, her former babysitter and mentor, whom PJ calls Gay Yoda. Rhodes, a cynical but wise woman, tells Josie that in her high school days being gay was enough to make her an outcast, unlike the current situation where PJ and Josie are disliked for being gay and untalented. She advises Josie to invest in yourself and teach people to fear you instead of love you. Rhodes also reveals a dark secret about the Rockbridge vs. Huntington rivalry. Historically, Huntington has always tried to kill a Rockbridge player during their games, often with brutal methods. This revelation spurs Josie to action. She finds PJ, who is still reeling from the fallout, and explains the danger. Despite their heated argument and PJ's initial reluctance, Josie appeals to her sense of responsibility towards the girls they humiliated. She convinces PJ that they need to rally the club one last time to save a Rockbridge player from Huntington. At the highly anticipated game, PJ makes a heartfelt albeit awkward apology to Hazel, which Hazel accepts. Josie then reveals Rhodes's warning about Huntington's deadly tradition. They notice unusual activity, including abandoned barrels of pineapple juice, and deduce that Huntington plans to poison a player, possibly Jeff, who is allergic to pineapple. The girls rush to alert the authorities, but they're dismissed. With time running out, they improvise a plan. Hazel creates a distraction by attempting to set off a large fireworks display, but it malfunctions. PJ then tries to get the cheerleaders to kiss to create a distraction, which causes a momentary stir. Meanwhile, Huntington players begin spraying the field with what appears to be pineapple juice targeting Jeff. In a desperate act, PJ sacrifices herself, tackling a Huntington player and taking a direct hit from the pineapple juice spray, saving Jeff. Josie, seeing PJ in danger, rushes to turn off the sprinklers, succeeding just in time. The game is stopped and the Huntington team is exposed for their cheating and attempted poisoning. In the aftermath, Jeff, incredibly grateful, thanks PJ profusely. PJ and Josie reconcile, acknowledging the unusual circumstances that brought them together and the genuine bond that formed despite their initial misguided intentions. PJ apologizes to Josie for her past behavior and lies. Isabel, who witnessed their heroic actions, approaches Josie, hinting at a potential romantic interest, suggesting that Josie didn't need elaborate schemes to get her attention. PJ and Josie facing the consequences of their fight club and the disastrous car explosion. Their once sturdy bond frays under the pressure, with Josie squarely blaming PJ for their increasingly dire situation. The public humiliation at the school pep rally, orchestrated by Principal Myers and Jeff, exposes their fabricated juvie story and their ulterior motives for starting the club. This leaves PJ and Josie isolated as former club members, including Isabel and Brittany, feel manipulated and used. In the wake of the scandal, Josie seeks solace and advice from Rhodes, her former babysitter, whom PJ affectionately calls Gay Yoda. Rhodes, a seasoned and somewhat cynical figure, offers a dose of reality. She tells Josie that in her high school days, simply being gay was enough to make her an outcast. She contrasts this with PJ and Josie's current predicament, where they are disliked not just for being gay but for being gay and untalented, a jab at their exaggerated claims of fighting prowess. Rhodes, in her blunt wisdom, advises Josie to invest in yourself and teach people to fear you instead of love you. This seemingly harsh advice hints at a deeper truth about self-preservation and strength. Rhodes then drops a bombshell, a dark secret about the long-standing rivalry between Rockbridge and Huntington schools. She reveals that historically Huntington has a gruesome tradition of attempting to kill a Rockbridge player during their games, often using brutal and elaborate methods. She recounts past incidents of players being burned, drowned, or dismembered, shocking Josie with the sheer brutality of their rivals' actions. This horrifying revelation galvanizes Josie. She immediately seeks out PJ, who is still reeling from the public fallout. Despite their intense argument and PJ's initial resistance, Josie passionately explains the immediate danger posed by Huntington. She appeals to PJ's sense of responsibility towards the girls they unintentionally misled, convincing her that they need to rally the club one last time. This time their objective is not personal gain but to save a Rockbridge player from Huntington's murderous tradition. At the highly anticipated football game, the tension is palpable. Before the chaos, PJ, in a moment of genuine sincerity, offers a heartfelt albeit clumsy apology to Hazel. Hazel, touched by the sincerity despite the awkward delivery, accepts. Josie then shares Rhodes's alarming warning with the group. They notice suspicious activity on the field, including discarded barrels of pineapple juice, and quickly deduce Huntington's sinister plan to poison a player, likely Jeff, who has a severe pineapple allergy. Their attempts to alert the authorities are futile. They are dismissed outright. With time ticking away, the girls resort to desperate improvisation. Hazel attempts to create a diversion with a malfunctioning fireworks display. PJ then tries to get the cheerleaders to engage in a public display of affection, which causes a brief awkward pause in the pre-game festivities. Meanwhile, Huntington players begin spraying the field with the pineapple juice, specifically targeting Jeff. In a dramatic turn of events, PJ, seeing Jeff in imminent danger, acts instinctively. She sacrifices herself, tackling a Huntington player and taking a direct hit from the pineapple juice spray, effectively shielding Jeff from the lethal substance. Simultaneously, Josie, witnessing PJ's courageous act, rushes to the sprinklers and manages to shut them off, preventing further contamination of the field. The game is immediately halted and the Huntington team's nefarious plot is exposed. Redemption and unexpected bonds. In the chaotic aftermath, Jeff, visibly shaken and immensely grateful, profusely thanks PJ for saving his life. PJ and Josie, having faced down a dangerous threat together, share a moment of profound reconciliation. They acknowledge the bizarre circumstances that brought them together and the unexpected genuine bond that formed amidst their initial misguided intentions. PJ, in a moment of vulnerability, apologizes to Josie for her past behavior and the litany of lies she told. Isabel, who witnessed their heroic actions, approaches Josie. Her demeanor has shifted. There's a hint of genuine interest in her eyes. She suggests that Josie didn't need to orchestrate elaborate schemes or a fight club to get her attention, implying a burgeoning romantic possibility that goes beyond PJ's initial shallow ambitions. The film concludes with Principal Myers announcing Rockbridge's victory, citing Huntington's disqualification due to their unsportsmanlike and frankly criminal conduct. Mr. G, still comically eccentric and oblivious to the full extent of the girls' activities, expresses a bewildered pride in their actions, even if he doesn't fully grasp the nuances of their fight club. Ultimately, the girls find a surprising form of empowerment, solidarity, and acceptance. They prove themselves to be more than just the ugly and untalented gays they once feared they were. PJ and Josie, having confronted their flaws and learned from their mistakes, walk away with a stronger friendship and the newfound respect of their peers, ready to face whatever comes next. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.